Hello and welcome to another beautiful episode with your host, which is me, Gia. And if this is your first time here, I am a clear channel for Mother Agua and the Marcadians. And I am not running the show solo today. I'm actually here with a amazing being who I think I've known for about 5 years or more. And that is beautiful Doctor.Lore. And Doctor.Lore is a dedicated naturopath with a profound focus on physical, mental, emotional, all over well-being. And she blends a beautiful alchemy of traditional remedies and the modern day science remedies to promote a whole holistic overall well-being for our collective today. So welcome to the show, Doctor.Lore, and I'm very excited to dive deeper with you today.
Thank you, Gia. That was such a beautiful. I'm glad you did the introduction. That was good.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I wrote it out and I thought what would do justice to you? Because,
Aw.
you're, like I said, like there's just a beautiful blend, right? Like you're doing the physical healing part, you're doing the cupping and the acupuncture and all of that, but you're also doing a lot of counseling. And then you're
Mhm.
helping women with their fertility. You're doing children's work. You're doing, this whole rounded thing. And on top of that, you're a wizard. Like you have like, so much wealth of knowledge when it comes to herbs and like plants and how to make tinctures out of them and medicines and all of that magic stuff. And of course, not to mention, your little beauty cosmetic line that you have with your
Aw.
sister called the Sisters,
Yeah. Thank
which
you.
I use. I'm actually gonna say I don't think I've ever said this out loud or promoted this, but if you go onto Doctor.Lore's website, which we'll link below in the description box for everyone to basically book with you and get an insight in your world, the Sisters brand, they have this beautiful salt scrub, Himalayan salt scrub for the body. It is the best thing I have ever used. I'm actually addicted. Like it's always sold out. So I bought it in 24. I bought in stock. Like I got 24 of them. Like, I can't risk my life. And also, me being the channel for Mother Agua, who is a great mother of the seas, salt means so much to me. And you can imagine the effects and the magic I create in the shower every single day with your Himalayan salt scrubs. It
Aw.
is profound to me. Like, I don't know what you put in there and how you do it, but I honestly think it has to do a lot with your frequency and your energy work and your intention that's placed in those products. And don't even get me started on the chapstick. Like, the chapstick is, again, I'm addicted. I can't use any other brand. Like, I
Same.
traveled, I went to India and I ran out of your chapstick, and I was like, I'm gonna just stay with my dry lips.
Oh no.
I'm like, I'll just put like butter or like some like Indian desi remedies like ghee or something. But I'm like, I can't wear another chopstick. Like it does more harm. Like your chopstick actually repairs,
Thank
like
you.
I feel like all these other brands, they dry my lips and I don't like it. And I'm not
Mm,
constantly having to reapply your chapstick.
thank you. That means a lot. There's a lot went into the formulation of these products so that it feels good, it works good, it does what it's intended to do, protect your lips, keep the moisture inside, and make them nice.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I feel like I kind of, as you guys know, if it's your first time on my like beautiful podcast and show here, nothing is ever scripted. Like I've literally just approached Dr. Lore, I think last week, and I was like, hey, come on my podcast. And I was like, I'm just gonna ask you random questions, and this is gonna be conversation. Nothing is ever scripted. So other than me telling her, I'm gonna ask you this first question, and then we'll go from there. So I do want to start off by asking you, what is your favorite part of the day?
I tried to think about this for a little bit, when you brought it up, and then I completely forgot you were gonna ask me this question. But the first thought that came to my head when you mentioned it is, um, sleeping. I I get so excited when I get into bed to the point that sometimes I excite myself so much that I can't sleep anymore. Like it's a thrill to get to go to bed and just completely give in to gravity and
Yeah.
lay down, and then I get a hot pack anytime I get into bed so that I can just like feel a warmth, like underneath the blanket, and then I just like start seeing stuff and imagining stuff and turning it into a dream. So it's a nice getaway and good way to end the night of, to end a day, like a full day of constant work to just lie down and sleep and not have to do anything other than imagine where you want to be.
Honestly, I think that's gonna be so relatable to many. I feel like we all wait for that moment where we're like, oh, all the burdens are off. I have no
Yeah,
responsibilities. My only job is to relax now.
yeah. Like I'm tired of just even carrying the weight of my body. And it's not a big weight, but just like, yeah.
Yeah, and I think everyone is definitely gonna relate. So like, do you do anything like to promote good sleep? Like there's any tips or tricks that you do, like you use in your daily life?
Yes. In my daily life, for me or for my patients?
Your patients, yourself, any tips or tricks for like a good night's sleep?
Yes, 100%. I think there's like a top three, maybe top four things. And depending on the person, I would say in general, all of everybody is just really stressed and overwhelmed and um like the stress just builds up throughout the day, and because we're in this constant state of sympathetic arousal, and for those who don't know, sympathetic arousal or the sympathetic nervous system is the system that gets us into the fight or flight mode, where you're just releasing, um, epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol. These are things that make your body go, make your body run, make your body lift, make your body just stressed enough to be motivated enough to work. But because we're in that state constantly, we don't get the parasympathetic arousal, which is, or as much of it, which is the opposite, which is the rest, digest, and heal. So everyone is just in this, um, I would say like a cortisol imbalance where there's just so much cortisol that they can't get a good night's rest because cortisol is peaking when it's not supposed to be peaking. Normally, your cortisol is supposed to drop, the melatonin increases in darkness, and so stay away from light at night. But to work on sleep, one good thing is to decrease cortisol. So there's multiple ways to do that. One great way is through herbal medicine. So my by far favorite. Oh, that just gave a thumbs up. That's cool.
Oh yes, your screen, that graphic. I think I have the AI stuff going on Zoom. So yeah, I agreed.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. So the herbal medicine, my go-to is ashwagandha. So this is something that's great because it helps to reduce cortisol and it helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system in a different way. So it has a calming effect. And traditionally in Ayurvedic medicine, it's something that's, and I tell people to brew it the traditional way. So with milk and honey, because then you're getting the three doshas. And that's the way it's supposed to be to calm you. And the warm milk is something that calms you at night. And the sugar pacifies vata. Not that I know much about Ayurvedic medicine, but I know this. So it's beneficial in that realm. And then with the Western background, if you look into it, it helps to reduce cortisol. So a nice cup of ashwagandha before bed is just like it can get you to sleep to the point that you wake up with shoulder pain because you just had a really deep sleep. That happened to me the first time I used it. And so yeah, so that's one of the things. Another thing is magnesium. Because we're in this constant stress, we burn more magnesium than normal, so our muscles are tight. Magnesium also has a calming effect. So if you take something like a magnesium citrate before bed, it helps to calm the muscles, relax the mind. But that's something that you could take regularly along with the ashwagandha because it works on your body over time. And then the third thing would be if your mind is racing at night. So other than things that you would be putting in your body, you can, if you feel like your mind tends to go to, oh, I forgot to do this today and I have to do this tomorrow, then creating a to-do list
Yeah.
where, you check it throughout the day, but before bed, so that you're not staying up remembering all the things you forgot, you can put it on the paper. And so that you're not stressed all night trying to remember the things you need to remember for the next day. It's all there. You can rest your mind that it's all there. You can forget it. You can go to sleep and be at peace and then remember it in the morning. It's not going to be something that you have to keep on your mind and have this constant stress. And then the last way to, or another way to kind of reduce the stress is to directly activate the parasympathetic nervous system with techniques like meditation, breathing exercises. So these, your body responds to this by slowing its heart rate, the breathing rate, and that will naturally put you into this like feedback state of relaxation so that you can sleep and reduce the cortisol and be relaxed. Yeah.
I honestly love this.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah, that is amazing. First of all, I'm mind blown about the ashwagandha. Now, of course, I have a South Asian background, so I know a lot about, I've heard ashwagandha my entire life growing up, but I have never heard it being drank with milk and honey though.
Oh,
Never.
did I make that up?
Yeah, no, because it's always been given to me like in a powder form or a pill form.
Hmm.
I've or a tincture, like a tincture. I've never
How do
had it.
how do you drink it, the powder?
I don't put it in milk though. I think you know what's okay, I take it straight to the tongue, then I drink it with water. I water it down.
And that's one way to do it.
Yeah. But the thing is, the milk and honey with the tridosha effect of Ayurveda, that makes so much more sense because I can
Right.
only imagine like let alone that comfort and that warmth you get from like the milk and the honey itself,
Mhm.
the grounding effect you get in the body.
Yes.
Grounded. All the elements in your body are in perfect alignment and balance,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what's happening. Like we can't go to sleep because, yeah, there's too much screen time, right? Where our mental body's too much, our actual cortisol levels like out of imbalance. It just imbalances that make it really hard for us to have a good night's
Mhm.
sleep. So, oh
Yes.
my gosh, what a hack.
Yeah.
Like
And
what a
it's
hack.
and it's right. Like just like you said, it's like it's soothing, it's meditative, it's you dedicating a certain amount of time to yourself to take care of yourself. So you're rewarding yourself. You're
Mhm.
telling yourself, I'm taking care of my body. This you have to put effort into making it. It's not just like a turmeric, not a turmeric, sorry, an ashwagandha capsule that you drink and then call it a day. It's no, I'm putting effort and energy into making this thing that's going to soothe me. So it's like a ritual. It's meditative. So in so many different levels, it's beneficial. And because it's powder, it absorbs nicely in the stomach. So yeah, I think
That's
I learned it in a yoga therapy course, like to mix it with the milk and honey. Honey, not sugar, sorry, but you can put, something that's sweet to pacify the vata for sure.
wow, my gosh. Honestly, this is amazing. So thank you so much for sharing all those juicy details. I'm definitely gonna try it out because you know, I can't just listen and not do it. I'm one of those. So I'm going to do it now. Um,
Yes, try it.
I do want to go back into like why I kind of called you on the episode.
Oh
And
yes.
really, it was to talk about chi energy and how it moves in the body. And also because I know you have a wealth of knowledge there, with your physical body healing and so forth. So I am curious to know on, what the chi actually represents in our body and how that movement actually is happening in our physical being.
Okay. So maybe interrupt me at any point to clarify or dive
Okay.
deeper into a certain thing that I say, but I'll start with what is qi. So qi in Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, is energy. And energy is something that flows in your body. And according to Chinese medicine, there is so many meridians, which are channels that run through your body where energy flows. And so when there's imbalances in the different organ systems in your body, the energy doesn't flow properly and it can get stuck in different places. And when chi is stuck, that's called chi stagnation. And so that's going to manifest as different symptoms based on which organ it's stuck in or, where along the channel it's stuck, due to like the interplay or the imbalances between the organs. It's never just one organ. They're all linked, and it's a whole medical system that connects all the organs. And the way that she can stagnate or um, be imbalanced is, well, multiple ways. One way is through the food that you eat. So eating too much or too little of certain foods or certain temperatures or certain properties similar to Ayurvedic medicine. There's, the fire properties and the cooling properties of herbs. So the food that you eat can cause damage, or it can help move chi. And then the emotions that you experience and maybe not as much as experience, but um, aren't able to work through or process, those can cause the imbalances in the organ systems as well. And then another thing that can cause these imbalances is like direct insult from the environment. So a viral infection or cold hitting you or hot hitting you, those can cause chi symptoms as well. And there was one more thing I was going to say, but I forgot now. So the weather, or environmental conditions, emotional situations. I remember the fourth thing now. Food or what you're born with in general. So you're born with a certain amount of chi or like essence, and it comes from your parents. So if your parents, were didn't have that chi or were, in a state where their essence was very depleted, then you're starting at a baseline essence. And so there's only so much you can do with your essence. So you can protect it, but you can't really increase it. And so in these conditions, your essence depletes as you age. So you'll see as you age, you become more fragile, hair becomes brittle, bones become brittle, but some people are born like that. So their essence is depleted to start. So
Oh,
yeah, so that's chi, and the way chi is formed is through, part of it is essence, but the bigger part is food. So the food that you take, your stomach and spleen together, the yin and yang of the each organ, they work together to process the food and turn it into chi and blood and fluid. So if you're not eating food that's supporting good chi production and good blood production, you're going to be chi deficient or blood deficient. So you need to make sure you eat those healthy foods and the right temperatures and things like that to give yourself the chi you need.
wow. I'm actually really fascinated to know the chi starts in the womb.
Sort of. So the essence, yes, yeah, because it starts in the womb because the food your mom eats is
Hmm.
what you're eating, and the essence from your mom and dad is your it's in the kidney, so it's the essence that you know you have for the rest of your life. And so you can keep your essence strong and good as long as you can by bringing in good chi or good energy, good food. And the first food that you're getting is from your mom when you're born.
Wow. I've never heard this information anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm actually
awesome.
so fascinated. Yeah. So, okay. And on top of your mind, if you could give like top three examples of food that can, help you rebuild and rediscover your chi.
Ooh, I like these questions. Okay, so foods that can help rebuild your chi. So it's there's like a generic, not generic, but there's the foods that we know can build it. But again, there's with different people, depending on what imbalances they have, sometimes those foods may not be as beneficial for them, or they have to introduce other factors to the food to balance like their constitution. But in general, um, the things that help promote the foods that help promote chi production are like warm foods that are easy to digest. So if someone is chi depleted, then you don't want to be eating a bunch of cold, raw food unless you can have bits of it or reasonable amounts of it, but then you have to add the element of fire to it. So add some ginger or add some cinnamon or add some, spices that bring that heat element in it. Because if you're constantly eating raw foods, your chi or your spleen and stomach have to work so hard to digest that food and then turn it into cheese. So if it's cooked and cooked for a long time and has like plenty of fluid, so kind of like a stew or a porridge, then it is so easy for your body to just get the chi from that. But if you're using most of your chi or most of your energy to digest the food, then how much chi are you going to get from that food? It
Uh,
serves other purposes, but for the purpose of building chi, you need chi foods that are already like digested or easily digestible. So kanji is a big thing because it's rice that's cooked for a really long time, and so your body can just absorb the chi from that much easier. And then if you can add things like ginger, you can add nutritive, immune boosting mushrooms. Um, yeah.
wow. Okay.
I think you said three things. What was your question again?
That was three. It's okay. We're not scripted. It's fine. Yeah, it was three things, but like I think the initial picture here is it has to be warm and easy digestible, something that gives comfort to the body
Mm-hmm.
and something the body can pass along with ease versus
Yes,
stressed with digestive parts.
exactly.
Okay, so okay, that's wow. Like this is
Hmm.
I'm having a good time.
Yes. And then I guess to just to add on that, the other thing that you can do is things that get chi moving. So movement. So or tai chi or things or even meditation,
Mhm.
but like the actual physical movement is life. You need to move to get things moving. If you just stay stagnant, everything will be stagnant and you'll just have stagnant pain and stagnant emotions. So moving and breathing is something that will benefit your chi.
Oh wow. So in order to get your life moving, you actually physically have to move.
Yeah, more or
That
less.
makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Um, okay. And, going back to the emotional component as well, because we're seeing a spike of interest that's come through on many platforms with everyone healing their inner child, doing shadow work, doing all this deep inner work to release
Mhm.
all this stored, suppressed emotions that's affecting them on the physical level.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sure you've witnessed that a lot in your practice.
Mhm.
I'm just curious to know, what is the most common emotion that you have seen suppressed?
Um, Irritability, frustration, resent, and those all come together into the emotions that affect the liver.
Wow. Okay. So those are they directly target the liver.
Yes, so liver qi stagnation, so like qi that is stuck in the liver will manifest a certain way in females and a certain way in males. And for a lot of females that are coming in with, like severe menstrual cramps, like dark clots of blood, um, like the pain, the breast tenderness, um, feeling like their mood is unstable. Uh, that's I think that's a big one. And there's usually a lot of unspoken frustration and resentment that they don't let out. And I guess in Chinese medicine, it's something that can affect the liver or build up in the liver. And then um, when I connect it to the Western, it often connects that way too. So I often see because in Western medicine, there's comes up again. So in Western medicine, the liver um, is the organ that's responsible for detoxing your body. So everything flows through your liver, your blood, and it carries medicine that gets broken down into different phases by your liver so that your body can eliminate it. So and the other thing that the liver does is it has a relationship with glucose or blood glucose regulation. Um, so I often see like the Western combined with like the traditional Chinese medicine symptoms of like the menstrual issues, where they have like the irritability connected to their blood sugar management or their insulin, and um, sometimes like a fatty liver or a cholesterol issue. So oftentimes I'll see like the Western and traditional combination,
Hmm.
uh, but for the most part, it's the menstrual pains and like the breast tenderness, the abdominal distension, so like the bloating, um, and the heavy bleeding. And so, and then in the liver, it's not just that's the only liver qi stagnation picture. So the liver can be like liver yang rising or liver yin deficiency. So there's like the heat aspect, there's a fluid aspect. So in men, there's often like a liver yang rising where they get really frustrated and red and flushed in the face and like a headache right on the top of their head. And then the liver is also connected to the eyes. So it could be like a dry eyes and or bloodshot eyes or floaters in the eyes. So there's different symptoms that are manifested by the liver, but to simplify it into like the main thing, I would say it's menstrual issues and irregular periods. Sorry, I almost forgot that's part of it as well. And then also infertility.
Okay, yeah. So infertility also is I see it actually a lot in my practice too. Women coming in because infertility, they've been to doctors, they've been on all this hormonal therapy, and now they want answers basically directly from God, right from the spirit team. And they want that comfort, they want to know what's going on, and they want to align with the timing and so forth. And of course, I help them out from the spiritual realms as much as I can, right?
Mhm.
That aspect. Help them move on the grief if there's any about that, and so forth. But I am very curious to know, in your practice, like, because you deal basically with the physical being, the physical vessel. When a female comes to you with infertility issues, are they directly, is it because of, of course, there's environmental causes, there's, lifestyle causes, diet, everything affects it.
Mm.
But what is the most common diagnosis that comes up again and again for being the reason for infertility?
So I don't know how to say this without it coming across in a certain way. So it's I have so much to say about this. So
I know. We want to hear
there's
it.
no that's the crazy thing is like it's there's no like what there isn't this like one diagnosis that's the cause for infertility. It's often they don't know what the heck is going on, and patients are coming to me after they've been to fertility clinics and um they checked the hormone levels are okay and the follicles okay and you know like oftentimes people say that there's certain conditions that make it difficult to get pregnant, like if you're aging or if you have PCOS or these things are connected to infertility. But I have patients that have PCOS and get pregnant on accident. I have
Yeah.
patients that tried IVF and tried for so long and stopped and then suddenly randomly got pregnant and they still had PCOS. So and sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. You've done all the testing in the world and like you there's no answer to what's really going on. But sometimes it is really connected to something like, okay, one ovary is completely blocked. So your chances are reduced because you have only one other ovary that can produce the eggs, or, um, like different anatomical issues or hormone issues, things that have direct solutions to with like injection, like progesterone, for example. And then you can do progesterone injections and um, you can have a baby successfully. So there's things that are linked and you have answers to, but I feel like there's more no answers than answers. And that's for me, that's what sort of gets me thinking of what's going on energetically for this person.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
and again coming back to the liver, oftentimes there's resentment and frustration and irritability and just a general not being happy
Hmm.
with where they are in life. So it could be someone that's, you know, very overwhelmed. They have so many responsibilities. They're trying to start a family, but their family, their parents and everybody else is dependent on them. They're in
Yeah.
this role that they shouldn't be in, and they're taking care of everybody else, and they're trying to get their career in track. And their husband at the same time is not doing anything to support the pregnancy. They're, you know, engaging in reckless behavior or and it doesn't have to be all of those things combined. The
Yeah.
husband could be very supportive, but if you feel like the world is scary, if you feel like nobody understands you, if you feel like putting on one more responsibility is gonna break you down because you're already on the verge of breaking down, do you think your body wants you to get pregnant?
It's trying to protect you. It's too busy making a safety net for you, let alone a baby. Yeah.
Yeah. So oftentimes, you know, and it would be wrong for me to say, well, that might be why you're not, how can I say that? You know what I mean? That might, have you ever thought of maybe you're not getting pregnant because you don't want to be pregnant?
Yes.
It's more of, okay, well, what can we do to make you feel safe, to make you feel that this environment is safe for your baby? And then it's, well, the biggest burden on me right now is that I'm taking care of my family and I love them and this and that. Okay, well, let's work on some tools to reduce your stress, to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Let's give you some herbs just to get you to a place where you feel like you can cope. And then maybe then you'll have the strength to make the decision that you need to make, which is cutting off certain ties, or saying no to certain people, or, you know, letting go of this thing that's holding you back. And then once they get there, then their mentality shifts and they're like, I think I'm going to get pregnant.
The energetic shift, they can feel the frequency.
Yeah.
Right. And I get this a lot. I get a lot of women too that knock on my door in my business and they're like, hey, I've been to everyone everywhere. And you know, I can't get pregnant or I can't hold a pregnancy, a lot of miscarriages
Mhm.
and so forth. And they want answers from their spirit team and stuff. And I always get, and again, like to your point, every case is
Mhm.
different, but the one biggest and most common one, even through the spirit realm, when the spirit baby comes forward, which is their soul waiting for them to come through, like they want to come to this mother, they're saying the heart's desire is unfilled. The heart's desire is unfilled. Like I've heard that so many times coming from a spirit baby. And then I go to the mother and I'm like, okay, what is something you really, really want to do? And you're holding off on it. It's
Oh my
usually,
God, I have goosebumps. I can't. That's crazy.
yeah, I always get that. And it's usually, oh, I want to travel. That's number one. I haven't had the time. I don't have enough vacation time. I've been so busy. I was just in school and I got married and blah, blah, blah. They're still listing 1,000 things in front of me.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, okay, the baby's not going to come because you're not creating the conditions for this soul to have the experience they've chosen to have with you. You need to create those conditions. And the mother is like, oh, really? And that's why you'll often get, oh, I went on my honeymoon, now I'm pregnant. Oh, I went on vacation, now I'm pregnant. It's because the heart's desire was filled at that moment, and they probably were able to
Interesting.
come through and conceive. I always get that. Or I always get with boundaries too. I don't want to, I had like um I'm gonna share like a personal one, even though I'm not married yet, I'm just engaged, but I am constant communication with my spirit baby because again, conceiving is beyond the physical vessel. It is you're integrating a soul onto the planet, right?
That's so cute, Gia. I'm so sorry.
It's
Can I
okay, but
just
like
react?
you're integrating a soul and I've heard this many times from other spirit babies too, in other like cases with my like clientele.
Mhm.
They're saying I can't come through until you get me away from this individual. And it's like, okay, why do you not want this aunt, uncle, grandparent around you? I don't want religion. They could be very religious grandparents because look at the collective that's moving forward. No
Mhm.
conformity. I don't want conformity. I don't want religion. I don't want institution. I want to be homeschooled was one of the spirit babies thing. And until my mom doesn't move to her farmhouse away from schools, I can't come.
Mhm.
So it does have a lot to do with your saying, like the physical environment and the mind shift is a crucial component that I
Mhm.
constantly see. And also like going back to the pressure. that society builds, right? Like you're saying, the aging thing.
Mm-hmm.
Age doesn't exist. You have a womb, you are a mother. You're already a mother. Because the womb is not just there to birth the physical baby out, it's birthing creations for the planet constantly, right? Like just how you've birthed the brand Sisters with your beautiful skincare line that's holistically based, it's intentional. You've birthed your home, you designed your whole home, you've done the decor, that's your creation. You have a womb, you're a mother. But society like twisted that label to be like, oh, if you don't have children, you're not a mother. But they totally neglect that part where, like you said, like you're taking care of your parents. Even though you're their child, you're still giving them motherly love to them.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a womb, you're a mother. Like you're already a mother. You're already in the vortex of creation. And when you create something and birth it, it doesn't need to be a human. So
That
that
makes sense.
label mother, it's really, I find it really twisted these days. And if you
Mm-hmm.
become a mother, it's like a whole different pressure then.
Yeah,
There's
that's
too
so
much pressure.
interesting.
There's too much pressure, I find. And I'm sure you have a lot of women that come to you and say, oh, my clock is ticking.
Yeah,
Okay, and then, it's like, who told you that? Because I'm sure you don't
yeah.
feel like that. Someone told you that.
And the same people that are saying that to me are saying they want to get pregnant, and in other words, they're saying they don't want to get pregnant at the same time.
There you
The
go.
ones that are worried about the clock are like, because in their minds, they're like, well, I do want to one day, but not right now. But my clock is ticking, and I want everything to be perfect, but everything can't be perfect. So it's just like both ends just bombarding them. But can I just rewind because I have a question for you. This is so
Yeah.
fascinating because um the baby, this wait, what did you call it? The spirit baby?
Yeah, the spirit babies.
The spirit babies, they're choosing their environment. So, and I feel like that kind of answers more of like the complexities of why things can just happen so randomly as well, because I think there must be some sort of karmic um aspect in there. If the baby has an environment that they have in mind, then there's so much beyond your control, because you're not just fulfilling your
Yeah.
desires for karmic energy. You're directly connected to somebody else. And so I that can explain why, on one level, like if you're not ready for a baby and you don't want it to be there, it might not come. But at the same time, if the baby doesn't want to be there, it's not going to come. And then there's places where, the environment is chaotic and the last thing on their mind is a baby, and then they have a baby.
Yes. This is something we call soul contracts. So you may have a karmic bond with the soul that's coming through. You may have known them in a past life or whatever,
Mhm.
but basically this is how like I see it. Oh, do you know that movie Soul on Disney?
That, like, with the musician.
Yeah. The musician
Yeah, yeah.
anime. That movie's real.
Wow.
That
I love
movie's
that movie.
100% real. So basically, when the spirits are up there in the astral realm and they're deciding to come on the planet Earth to learn, to be schooled, they're up there and they're actually training. They're actually learning things, they're grasping things, they're making their decisions, they're drafting their contracts with people here and so forth. Um, when they are choosing parents, when they're picking out their own parents, they're drafting they have already drafted a contract with you. Like, this is a year I will come through. This is the doctor that will deliver me, or midwife, or whatever that condition is. They've drafted that contract with you, and that contract will be fulfilled. Now, you and the child on a soul level both agreed to accompany each other on this planet, in this plane, whether you're the teacher or the student, and your child can play the role of a teacher as well, or the student. So you have that contract in place. Now, unless the environment you are providing aligns with the soul's contract and experiences that they want to have on planet Earth. For example, if they want to become like a priest, right? Like, what if they want to become like a religious leader in their life? They want to preach the Bible and whatever. They are not going to come into a, like that soul. Sorry, babies. Unfortunately, cannot come to me. I'm an Indian South Asian woman. I was raised in a Sikh family, and I'm spiritual. I don't really believe in religious institutions. So the experience and the learning and the life course they will have with me will not be able to provide them the experience they are looking for.
Mhm.
So
Unless they're looking to be challenged before they get there, then they might come to you.
that's true. If they're looking to be the rebel, they're trying to clean up my lineage. They're trying to redirect the entire lineage then. Because that's what happened. We get a black sheep in the family. They do the lineage cleanup and they redirect them. It's a redirection that happens.
Hmm.
In a sense, I think you and me, we've done that for our families because we're born and raised in a completely foreign land to them on the western side of the planet. And the partners we have chosen are not what our parents had thought out for us. And then especially the career path for me, especially like there's no way my mom looked at me and was like, oh, she's gonna be a psychic when she grows up. Like, there's a lot of differences there. But it really depends on what kind of experience the soul wants and what kind of conditions you have created for your child to be in. I've already started writing letters to my future children because I want to draft a soul contract with a soul that I can actually add value with and play with and hang out with when they're adults. Um, because that's very important to me to know, right? I actually talk to my eggs, especially when I'm on my menstrual cycle, because that is when the most energy and chi, I guess, is flowing to them and they're the most active.
Hmm.
So I actually speak to my eggs on my menstrual cycle. Like I meditate with my yoni. And if people I don't know, yoni's vagina. Like I
Hmm.
literally meditate with it. I make it a big sacred part of me because that is the vortex. That is a vortex
Amazing.
that birth everything out for me constantly. So I have that in practice. Like I talk to my eggs, I talk to my spirit babies. I go, okay, do you want to be homeschooled? Like, do you want to do this? Like, what would you be comfortable with? Like, are you okay with religion? Are you okay with doing this? And of course, not everything will come out clean cut, right? I don't get answers to a lot of things I ask. They're like, no, like we'll figure it out when we get there. Like, stop harassing us. But again, having built that relationship,
Like, gee, I'm just a baby. Leave me alone.
seriously, because like, you want to know everything, right? You get excited. But again, like it really depends on the conditions you create. And that's why I find a lot of Eastern women that are back home still have zero struggle.
Hmm.
They have a very, very little amount of struggle compared to someone living on the West. And yes, lifestyle's huge. Here we're way more stressed. We all go to work, we all do things back home. Most of them are housewives. But the thing is, from a little girl, while they were being raised unto adulthood, they were constantly raised in that mindset that, oh, you're going to marry someone and then you're going to have children and your life
Hmm.
is going to be beautiful. They're raised to be homemakers.
Hmm.
They're born ready because they've been constantly, again, the mind shift, right? The
Yeah.
mindset.
They've been manifesting that.
Yes, you're a mother, you're going to have your own children one day. You're going to do this one day. So they've always visualized themselves as mothers. So when it
Hmm.
comes to conceiving, they're not nervous because they're like, yeah, I'm going to be a mom.
Hmm. And what that just made me think of? The the high prevalence of PCOS in South Asian women.
Oh, yes, let's talk about that.
Because I don't know, I now I'm curious to see if it's South Asian women, you know, back home, or is this just the ones that are here because they're going against what would normally happen?
It's very I think every third girl I know has it. South Asian.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
do they have it back home? Do you know, have you noticed anyone?
None of my cousins
Interesting.
have it. None of my sister-in-laws have it. No.
And with PCOS, there's the connection with the liver and insulin regulation and fertility.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That is actually for me, what I'm getting is there's a because again, your parents immigrated here, right? Like our parents immigrated here. And I
Hmm.
don't think they understood like the Western world. So a lot of women being natural leaders, because women are natural leaders, took the lead of the family. So they went into their masculine.
Hmm. And then they're getting the testosterone symptoms. So with PCOS, what happens is it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So you have um, multiple like cysts or follicles, irregular menstrual cycles, and with irregular menstrual cycles, you're not so normally to be fertile or to develop an egg that is going to be viable and um, turn into a baby, you need the follicular and the luteal phase. And when they're balanced, it's enough time to grow and enough time in the yin and enough time in the yang. And if your period is not every, month, then, and if it's every 2 or 3 months and you can't predict it, you don't know when you're going to be ovulating. And it might not be like it might be older or it might be too young. And so the balance isn't there. So I don't even know where I was getting with this, but that's one of the things with PCOS. The other symptoms are like testosterone symptoms. So the hair growth on the chin, then sometimes the hair becomes coarse and thin as well, and it's connected to the thyroid. So there's like thyroid similar symptoms. Insulin dysregulation, so high blood glucose and insulin will affect your cortisol as well. So your hormones aren't balanced, your cortisol is not regulated, your blood sugar is not regulated, and that connects to like the liver connection in that Western that I was saying with the traditional Chinese medicine. Um, so so yeah, it's a whole bunch of imbalance, and it makes sense that um, they're masculinizing to fulfill these roles here, where back home they would embrace the feminine energy.
Yep.
I see,
Exactly.
and a lot of my PCOS patients, that's the case for them. There's a lot, and or there's a trauma, not necessarily, you know what I mean? There's some sort of trauma that makes them embrace the masculine energy, or something something happens, something it is what it is, but they've shifted towards the masculine. They're missing periods and becoming infertile.
So how can this be like like is there a cure for it? Or can it be completely like reversed?
PCOS.
Yes.
So the main thing actually with PCOS one of the main things, and I think the reason for this is multi-layered, but exercise is one of the things. And so you would think like, oh, well, that's exercise is just like, I don't know, maybe that's masculine energy, but it is not. It is an opportunity for you to dedicate time to yourself. So the hardest thing for any PCOS patient is to take care of themselves. So guess what? Nothing is going to work. I can give you all the supplements in the world until you start exercising and dedicating time to yourself. There's only so far that you're going to get. So exercise helps to regulate their period, regulate their weight gain, regulate their blood sugar, because there's a connection with insulin and exercise and blood sugar. So exercise is the main medicine. And then there's, of course, different herbs that can help um, balance your hormones, balance your blood sugar, and like give you that extra to get there. But the main thing is diet and exercise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So taking care of yourself.
Wow. So that whole wow. I honestly think you just took down the entire industry right now. Because whoever's listening to this, because honestly, I know too many South Asian sisters of my own that are literally running around for a solution. and they're paying major bucks to get it.
Yeah.
And they're not, there's just been no movement. And of course, they go to the gym, they work out, they try to do their diet. But again, like to your point, unless you make yourself a priority, there's going to be no shift.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be no shift. And I see that now because yeah, they go to the gym, they work out, they have meal preps, they do it. But you know what? They're constantly mentally managing their husbands, they're constantly mentally managing their mother-in-laws, they're managing their children, they're managing their like there's so much mental load. They're still not making
Mhm.
themselves a priority mentally.
Yeah. And this
Um,
baby's like, you're not going to give me any attention. I'm not coming.
yeah, exactly. It does speak to your babies because like you're right. Like unless the baby, like if you're not feeling safe, how can someone else feel safe?
Yeah. It's
Oh
a
my
big
God.
circle.
It's a big circle. Yeah, it literally is. And that's so funny you said like it's a big circle. Um,
Why? Tell me.
yeah, because I recently found out this like really cool information. So I obviously being a channel, I'm always channeling things. Um, every Indian event I have, I always wear like a bindi. And I always make sure it's round. No matter what the design is, like I want it to be round. Um, And I looked at it as protection for my psychic eye, my inner eye, my third eye. Like I put it right over, like in the middle of my, like right on my third eye.
Hmm.
And I thought, okay, it's protection for my third eye. It keeps me grounded, right? But recently, what I found out was from like this, I don't know where I don't even know where I think I read it somewhere. I'm not even sure how I got this information. I can't remember, but basically, the circle represents the universe. And the universe is a circle because circle is the feminine symbol
Oh, like the womb,
of the womb. Yes, of the womb, the ovaries, everything is a circle shape.
the egg.
Yes, everything is, right? Also, the universe is all encompassing. It has everything. It's all the resources, the bounty, the abundance, all of it. So does the feminine energy. It encompasses everything.
Hmm.
So when you wear the bindi, like the on your forehead, the dot, the bindi, you're basically representing the entire universe and you're representing yourself as a divine feminine force. Because life is a circle. What goes around comes around, and it's all an ecosystem, which is a circle. And who's providing the ecosystem and the life force energy and is leading the entire planet? The divine feminine.
Amazing.
So that is actually why we wear bindis. I had no idea. It's just to represent ourselves.
What? How did you find that out?
I didn't know where,
Who?
I think I heard, you know, I think I got it from like a reel. I think I watched something on Instagram, like some history. I follow this like history stuff.
Hmm.
And I think I got it from like one of the Indian history, like I think it was a reel. I remember watching it actually. I don't think I read this. I watched this because I remember seeing a lot of like circles
Hmm.
a couple of months ago. I don't know, I have to go find it now. But like, yeah, it's basically like you're encompassing all the universe energy
That
and
makes sense.
yeah, but
Have,
do you see a woman get trapped in trying to manage that versus lead it?
it's so annoying. Like, let me be a mom. Yeah, take care of your shit. You know what I mean?
But yeah, but many women position themselves to manage that, but you don't have to. You're the universe. You encompass it all.
Yeah.
You're meant to lead it.
But I think because of that nature, that everybody feels that they could rely on you, and that's becomes a common thing.
Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling a completion coming towards us, but
Mm.
I do want to ask you if there was any kind of tip, advice, trick, or even like a quirk that you can give to us. And of course, let us know where we can find you and literally indulge in your offerings because it's like they're amazing.
Thank you.
Your departing message, and how do we find you?
So I'll start with how do you find me? You can find me uh on Instagram, Doctor.Lore, at Doctor.Lore. I think it's Doctor, maybe .Lore. I think that's
I'll
it.
link to it below in the description. Yeah.
Or you can go to Doctor.Lore.com. So Doctor.Lore, Doctorlore.com, and all my information is there. My treatment approach, what to expect in a visit, consultation fees, the different types of therapies that I provide, whether it's a general consult or physical therapies. And you can use the form submission there to email me anytime. And I'm in Mississauga, right beside Square One. And like a parting message, you said, or
Yeah, like a departing message, any tip, trick, anything you like to leave our little viewers here today?
oh, I don't know. What can I say? Just listen to yourself, listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. Whether it's, reaching out to people like Gia, reaching out to me, reaching out to multiple practitioners. When you once you get to that frequency of, knowing that you need to treat yourself and seeking those people, you're going to meet multiple people that are in that same vibration and will be a good healthcare team for you. You don't have to limit yourself to one healthcare provider. This, you know, ancient, not ancient, ancient is ancient medicine, but this outdated conventional model of go to your doctor who spends 2 minutes to get to know you and tell you what to do, and this like dictatorial fashion, it's not gonna work. We need doctors for so many reasons, and it's essential to have a good family doctor. And yeah, but they're not going to be your all. They're not going to be everything. So seek multiple avenues of healthcare and make sure it feels like there are people that care, and listen to your gut into receiving this care. Hope that made sense.
Yeah, I did. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Lore, for your beautiful guidance, your wisdom, and it's just been so great chatting with you. I will have all of Dr. Lore's and my information linked below in the description box. And thank you, everyone who's viewed this, who's listened to this, who's watched this. We love you all so much. And please do like, subscribe, and comment, and let us know what you thought of our episode today.